Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. As you can see on the screen here, hey, what we told you. We told you this is going to happen. Alright. Call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honors once again go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who continue through the Holy Spirit, teach us His truth. Salutations to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing His truth with all honesty and sincerity, while trying to wake up the remaining hopefully. Alright, this is Nama of the DC camp, and as you can see, alright, never mind the Blue Angels and that news, but the U.S. House passes National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, with your boy Obama. First put that out. Opposed by Freedom Caucus, alright? Those of you that are worshippers of Obama, that thought he actually did something for you when he didn't. I'm talking about our people now. It goes on to say, and this is the Secretary of Defense, this Jake here. It says the U.S. House of Representatives passed the $849 billion with a B National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, Thursday night, after the House Freedom Caucus urged Republicans not to vote for it. The fiscal 2023 bill was passed by a 329 to 101 vote after hundreds of amendments were considered and members engaged in hours of debate. As the legislative process continues, I thank my House colleagues for their thoughtful contributions and support of this year's NDAA. There's a lot to be proud of in this bill. And this is one of these things that, you know, if you could ever get a copy of it, no telling how many hundreds of pages it is, because there's a lot of shit hidden in there. What they call pork. All right, so you got all these extras in it. Everybody's so focused on the main thing that they don't bother to look. And as it says, the devil is in the details. All right. And you're working with these Edomites, and you better believe that's the case. All right. It says there's a lot to be proud of in this bill, and the stakes for our country's national security could not be higher. The bill's sponsor, House Armed Service Chairman Adam Smith, Democrat from Washington State, said in a news release. It says those who voted for it, 180 Democrats and 149 Republicans, effectively fired potentially hundreds of thousands of service members. Did you just hear that? And why? Who won't take the jibber jabber juice? But here's the thing. It says, and are being discharged unless they have protections recently issued by courts, the House Freedom Caucus argues. So here you have hundreds of thousands of service members who are in a virtual limbo as it stands now. All right. They're still considered active duty. They're still under the, they took those oaths. So all this because they refused an experimental concoction. Can't say we didn't tell you. It goes on to say only 39 Democrats and 62 Republicans voted against it. And you best believe that the Republicans are going to use this. Of course, this is how politics is played. So continuing on, it says the timing comes after the U.S. Army announced that more than 60,000 National Guard and Reserve service members have been cut off from pay and benefits as of July the 1st. So we are this is the 18th Tuesday. Monday. Sorry. This is the 18th. Wow. So we're going on almost 3 weeks since the cutoff day. Cut off from pay and benefits. How many of these 60,000? Okay, this is National Guard and Reserve. All right. It says, according to the Pentagon, nearly 270,000 active duty members, or 13% of the total force, are considered not fully vaccinated. So what is considered fully vaccinated? All right. Have they received at least one shot? It doesn't say, or none at all. All right. It says, but the total number expected to be cut off branch-wide, that means through all the services. All right. Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and they even got the newest one. You have what? The Space Corps. I'll just say it like that. But so it's closer to 500,000 when you cross the board. All right, and this guy, Thomas Renz, he's an attorney representing military whistleblowers. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin argued in his directive issued last August that requiring, now we remember this, again, something when it came out, well, he told you, it says that required all active duty and civilian employees to take the emergency use authorization drugs was necessary for military readiness. So they're pulling out all the stops, trying to get all the tricks, and they're bypassing a lot of shit. All right. This was, like I said, in early 2020, this was an experiment. They had to see how far they could go, how far they could get away with. And you have to know that this latest abortion decision really had nothing to do that much with abortion. It had to do with this. And let me explain why. What's on the books is, because people were coming up with this, my body, my choice, slogans, chants. And where do you think they got that? So they had to do away with this, just, go ahead and smash that shit so nobody have an excuse on paper, under law. It says we can't force them to do this. So you got all these people out here speaking up for these women, these murderers of children, because that's what it boils down to. You can't sugarcoat it. Giving them a license to kill, or actually to murder, because that's all it's ever been. And then it was over a lie. That woman that was at the center of this back in the day, she lied. So you've been, all you hoes out there for almost 50 years have been acting under a lie. You've murdered your children over a lie. See how easily you can be manipulated? 49 fucking years. Anyway, continuing on. It says Defense Secretary Lloyd argued in his directive issued last. Okay, we already read that. It says the mandate came at a time when the U.S. military is already struggling to meet recruitment goals. Whereas something else we've told you that's coming, and it's going to be another draft. All right. You're going to get the women, but hey, that only goes so far. We know that. That's someone else's agenda too. Let me give some scriptures, because we've told you all these things, and when these things happen, of course, there's something behind it. As soon as this loads, this is Ezekiel. Hey, you got to go there, because again, Let's see. Ezekiel 33 and 32. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song. And this is how we were treated, because we were made mockery of. We were just something for you to uh, entertainment. All right, that's what we are to a lot of people, entertainment. It says, and lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. All right. And I'm going to stay in Ezekiel because we have to stress the point here. It says, start at the top. It says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, what? Scriptures, this Bible, and go speaking to the house of Israel. Not everybody else, just Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. Because when you first learn of this, yes, it is sweet that you learn finally who you are. You see through all the lies and bullshit that have been told. All right, yeah, but there's a flip side to it. He said to me, Son of man, go speak thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. And that's the thing, there'll be actual heathens that will be more ready to listen, of course, until they find out that they're excluded, but they will actually be the first ones to stop and listen on most occasions. All right, it says 7, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me, for all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. All right, let's go into that real quick. Impudent. All right, let's see. That's Strong's H 2389. That's Kazakh. Strong, stout, mighty. All right, firm, hard. All right, and of course that also goes into stiff-hearted. All right, and you see that out there on the line. You get cussed out. Even some try to go a little bit further because they don't want to hear. All right. He says, behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. And let's skip on down to 17. And it says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth, and give them warning from me. And that's what we've attempted to do. Warn you of these things to come. They are prophecy. All right. 18, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest them not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. 19, yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. All right, so that's what we can wash our hands. All right, let's go back to the article. Oh, crap. What did I do there? Okay. Let's see, continuing on. It says, military service members were required to take the shot or be discharged, pay back scholarships, education, or other training costs, be disciplined, or even face court-martial. A load of this shit. That's why what I just said earlier is going to be a draft, because people are good. Hey, word of mouth. Even if you don't hear it on your usual means of advertisement, word of mouth still goes a long way. And people are like, "What did you hear about so and so get fucked over like that?" I don't want no part in that. I ain't just fuck the military. Several groups sued on behalf of service members, contractors, and personnel after all 4 branches of the military refused to grant religious exemption requests, meaning they have an agenda. So far, federal judges are ruling in favor of military plaintiffs. The bill does nothing to address the president's mandates regarding the last 2 years, which are forcing thousands of our best, bravest, and highly trained service members out of the military. Again, the draft. It also fails to end the radical left's contamination of our military with woke ideology, prioritization of diversity and inclusion over combat readiness, or the wasteful allocation of funds on politically motivated Green New Deal climate initiatives. In other words, this is more fodder for division, because the Republicans are taking this all in, and we're in the midterm. This is the midterm years. So it's going to be very interesting, even if we make it to November. It's expected to be a great upheaval, because people are sick and tired of this president and the rest of his compatriots. It also doesn't secure America's borders, they argue, or ensure oversight of the vast amount of taxpayer dollars spent on protecting the borders of other nations. And then it goes into amendments. Let's see, skipping down. I'll of course put this in the description box and you can read this. This is Rents. We talked about him earlier up here. Where was it? Way up here. But in any case, Rents says that according to a leaked document we received from a military whistleblower, there goes that word again, the real number of troops that aren't fully vaccinated as of January 12th this year totals over 500,000, or nearly 25% of our military. Does the Biden Pentagon plan to kick out a quarter of our military while recruitment levels are a disaster? Or do they really expect us to believe that 440,000 plus soldiers just decided to comply since that date? And of course they say the Pentagon has not responded to requests for that comment. So this, coupled with what's happening with the food and gas prices being increased, and what's coming down the pike. Today was supposed to, I hadn't heard anything yet, something about the railroad workers striking. And if that happens, oh shit, it's really on. So as far as your hopes and expectations, I'm talking about you people out there, is this passing over? You have to realize this was all planned. This is not something that's going to just heal itself. This is planned. You got Gates, Bill Gates that is, buying up all this land. And this devil is mad because I was going to do a video on it. I forgot it until just now. It just kicked butt. There's a Jake, boning his daughter. So you know he's mad. Yes, I said that. So hey, uh, this shit is Esau's just losing on all fronts. It's so beautiful to see. But in any case, let's get a few more scriptures here. Let's see. Let's go to 2 Peter. 1, and I will start at 19. Because again, these things are coming to pass. This is the word. It says, we have also a more sure, 2 Peter 1:19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed. But a lot of you have not and will not, no matter what we say, because your minds have been seared with that hot iron. You love the world too much to come up out of it. You got some of you that are straddling the fence and want to say, well, I'll just, I need a little bit more time, but time is of the essence, as the saying goes. All right. It says, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts, the Holy Spirit. That is, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the Scripture is of any private interpretation. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, for those that continue to doubt and say, you gotta put that Bible away, man wrote that book. And the real fucked up thing is, what they believe in, man wrote those books, but the difference is here. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit, not by the state in which they reside or whatever, or the United States government, but this goes far higher. That's the big difference. All right, let's go to, for those of you that think somehow that you don't believe has any bearing, well, this is Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? All right. Shall their unbelief make the faith in the Most High without effect? For the Most High forbid, yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. And a lot of people, the very fact that they've seen, all right, it might have taken them a little longer, but they see now that what we've said, more and more of it is coming true. And now you're seeing more people step up. All right. They're at the camps. Now listen. Oh, and it's going to be a greater amount, because when it really gets to the point where you have no choice because it's in your face, I mean, it's still a lot of, a little to the point where a lot of people are going to say, nah, it's not, things are going to recover. But like I said, I haven't heard anything about this train strike yet, because, hey, they got to use diesel too, and they're saying that they're underpaid and overworked and all that. So a good portion of your goods come by rail still, for those of you that forgot. So that's going to be a further impact on what's going on here. So hey, again, that's going to be it. So once again, U.S. House passes National Defense Authorization Act, opposed by Freedom. So ball again continues to pick up momentum here. All right, this is something added to it, and mosey on down the line. All right, so with that, hey, shalom.